Hey there, little mama. Welcome to the Moms Like Us Do Things Like This show. Let me ask you a question. It's time right now. Like the kids have gone to school, and you might be thinking, I might like to do something for myself. You might be thinking, hey, I might be able to go ahead and maybe I have time to pursue the dreams that I've had inside my heart for a really long time. Maybe the ones you had before you were a mom, or maybe you don't even know what they are and you'd like to find out what they are. Like maybe A, you'd like to make some money, or B, you'd like to serve God, or hey, maybe C, you'd like to continue your education or figure out exactly what else God's put inside of your heart. Well, today we're going to talk about it. Lisa Canning is joining us today, and she's a special friend of mine. And they call her the Possibility Mom, and I believe she is a Possibility Mom because she has made these things possible for herself. Lisa is a author, and she's a speaker, and she's a coach. And she helps moms just like you that may be feeling overwhelmed or just not know what to do to be able to pursue those dreams, find those gifts and talents, and do them while still being a mom. And we're going to talk to Lisa today. So hold tight. We're just about ready to get going. Okay, I'm going to bring Lisa up in a minute, but just for a second more, I want to talk to you about something really special. And that something really special is that your gifting as a mom is one of the greatest gifts that you will be able to give to God or your family. It could possibly be one of the greatest things that you do on the earth altogether. But God didn't create us just to be moms. He's created us, remember I told you, in our roles that we're moms, we're wives, we're daughters, we're sisters, we're children of God, and we're friends. And God wants you to be able to fulfill all of those roles, every single one of them. So while being a mom does take up a whole bunch of time, and especially when they're small, you got to take care of these kids because they'll die if you're not, right? If you drop them, well, you got to pay attention. So they take a lot of time. But there does come a time where you have a little more time. And that's what I want to talk to you about today is how do you move in and out of motherhood with dreams and talents and gifts and even businesses? How do you do that and keep the balance and be able to keep the priority of your home? And today we're talking about it with my friend Lisa. I'm going to bring Lisa up and we're going to talk about it. Hey there, Lisa.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. It is always a joy and a pleasure to spend time with you.
Yeah. Well, Lisa and I have been really good friends for quite a while. We met at a Michael Hyatt conference, a platform conference, to do exactly what I'm doing and what she's doing. And here we are, Lisa, we're doing it.
It's like the best. I mean, and that's just such a small snippet of the story. You have been such a mentor and a friend and a prayer warrior for me. And I'm so grateful. And, I really, it's funny when I look back on when we first met and how insecure I felt in so many different ways. When we first met, I had only I think I had 4 kids. I had 4 kids, and I'm pregnant with 9. And I was feeling so insecure in my ability to mother. I felt so insecure in my ability to, be a good wife and a homemaker. But I really, at that time when we met, and what was so inspiring to me about you was the boldness and the confidence I saw in you to just authentically live your Christian faith. And that was not something that I had yet developed confidence in. And I will always remember our encounter and just the message that you shared with me about being fearless and living out this part of my life that is so innate and nothing to be afraid of or ashamed of or anything like that. And when I sort of just look at the timeline on my life many years later now, where I am now really just living fearlessly, truly. Of course, I have my moments, but I will always be grateful for our friendship because you help me do that all the time.
Yeah, I remember that so well, and it is so cool to have watched you. Lisa and I are in a mastermind together, and we have supported one another so greatly. And Lisa has supported me, and you've taught me so much to just like do things on time and not be afraid. So, when you have that kind of iron sharpens iron, it's a beautiful thing, and it is the way God created it. He created us for us to what I call mutually mentor one another, and I love that because what I have, I give to you, and what you have, you give to me, which is another reason why our gifts and talents are super, super important. Now, Lisa,
Mhm.
what I'd like you to tell the girls is tell them about kind of how you got to your minivan meltdown, and then tell them that minivan meltdown.
Yeah, so I was very blessed with the opportunity to build an interior design career. I had a show on HGTV up in Canada, and for many years, I built an interior design and lifestyle television business. And it was thrilling, it was exciting, it was very glamorous, but it was also in sharp contrast to how a lot of other people were telling me I should live my life and how I wanted to live my life, if I'm being honest, which was being open to babies, which was being very present to my husband and children. We had during that phase prior to my, what I affectionately call my mini, we had 4 kids in essentially 6 years. Like every other year, we were creating a life together, which is beautiful and exciting and such a blessing. But through 2 very challenging careers, like we were both working and building our careers at that time, it became a very challenging situation to be in. And when I shared, like, I really just felt the competing priorities of both the worlds. I was literally being told by people in television, you know, having babies is going to really damage your career. And then I was being told by amazing mom friends in my church and in my community, working is probably going to really impact your family negatively. And so I sought out to prove to both camps that you could do both and that you could do both well. And I became obsessed with the pursuit of proving my worth in my external accomplishments, and just like to spoiler alert, that doesn't work, everybody. When you try to prove your worth in your work or in your home or in how well behaved your kids are, it just doesn't work. It
Mm-mm.
is not a sustainable recipe. And so all of this combined led to this time in my minivan. I was just a few days out of hospital giving birth to my fourth child, again, my fourth baby in basically, 6 years, less than 6 years. And I was bringing her to a job site, like a construction, like messy, noisy, dusty. And it was in that moment sitting in my minivan that I was like, this is not the life the Lord wants for me. Like, I just knew it right there. I was like, I am miserable. And I don't think he wants me to be this miserable. And that was the day I said, there has got to be another way. I know I'm supposed to pursue my gifts and talents in some capacity. And I know I'm supposed to be here, like for these kids. You wouldn't have given me these babies if you didn't want me to be there for them. I knew I wasn't supposed to live in that constant guilt and tension that I was living in. And so I basically I turned a new leaf after the minivan meltdown. I became obsessed with what does it look like to pursue your dreams in motherhood, but not at the expense of your faith, your family, or what matters most. And that is what led me to write the book, The Possibility Mom: How to Be a Great Mom and Pursue Your Dreams at the Same Time. And now I've since then transitioned my interior design business to a coaching business where I coach moms in personal development as well as business development.
And that is exactly where we're at. And you have a unique way of being able to juggle that. And recently, your husband has come into the business also.
Hmm.
How's
Hmm.
that? How did that come about?
Well, it was always, we recently moved our family from Toronto, Canada to Southwest Florida. And as a result of moving, I would find random books and random things. And my mom was like, "You're moving, get all the boxes out of my garage," all that kind of stuff. So in the last 2 years, I have found many notebooks, many journals, many pieces of paper, many dreams written, left, right, center. I've always had a dream in my heart to financially provide for the family so my husband could just throw himself into mission and ministry. He had been working in various positions in the Catholic Church in campus ministry and other initiatives, but the pay in that kind of work was, just to be frank, like unsustainable for our family living in the city that we were living in. It was just, to be very frank, not compatible. There's no way, even if you were on a rice and beans diet, it would be very difficult to live in a city where we were. And so I kept finding all these pieces of paper, like, wouldn't it be so cool if my business could actually just provide enough to fund our life, fund our ability to give, so that my husband could do whatever kind of ministry, we could do whatever kind of ministry we wanted as a family. And so that was always the impetus. And to be honest, it still is for me. The pursuit of wealth for me is so much about the ability then to provide for others. How can you then be generous when you are able to produce wealth? And so it's a it's not, I wouldn't say that it's always peachy. We don't always see eye to eye in the business, and I can see very quickly when a business conflict might be becoming a marital conflict, like when our marriage is influencing a business disagreement. So that's been a really interesting thing to navigate. But really, we're just sort of being obedient to where we feel the Lord is calling us. And right now, we feel like the Lord is calling us to work together and build my brand, build my business.
Yeah. And I've watched that brand ebb and flow and move in. And for a while you were trying to have, again, both feet in the camp of the interior design and the mom space, and then the shift into the mom space. And now you've shifted into coaching.
Mhm.
And when you coach, what is some of the things that you bring to the table immediately when you're coaching a mom? Like, let's just say a mom is sitting at the table with you right now. What are one of the first couple things that you talk to her about that you could inspire our listeners with?
There's always two components to anything that we're going to tackle in life, whether it be I want to renovate my home, whether it be I want to homeschool my children, whether it be I want to learn salsa dancing, like literally anything, or something as large as I want to launch a business or write a book. There's going to be a mindset component and a skill set component. And it's a really interesting thing, Mona, for me, an evolution that I've really been on. The majority of my products up until very recently, so my online courses, my group coaching experiences, were very focused on the skill side. So there are skills that we need to learn. There are a list of things I can teach you about time management. There are a list of things that I could teach you about running a business from home. I could teach you all kinds of things about, how to decorate a room beautifully or on a budget. You name it, there's no shortage of skills that one can learn. But what has become so apparent to me in my own coaching practice, as I've done this just inherently on my own and sought my own coaching, is if you don't have the mindset that will get you through the hard times, get you through inactivity, get you through when someone throws you a critical piece of feedback, warranted or not, it does not matter how many skills I teach you. And this is just like real time evidence. Like, this is real time from my coaching clients. This is real time in myself. There were some things I was observing in myself where I was like, why am I not making progress on this area? Like, I have the skills, like I'm following a list, but I'm not seeming to move forward. And that's it. So I always like to ensure that my coaching has this combo platter of both, because you really can't have one without the other. Because conversely, you can have an incredible mindset. You can say all day long, I trust the Lord and I am so abundant. I will always trust him. But then if you don't get up and do anything, One of my absolute favorite Catholic saints, St. Augustine, he has a beautiful, famous quote: "Without God, we cannot, but without us, God cannot.
Mhm.
Without God, we cannot, but without us, God cannot." And this is just the truth. It reminds me of that funny little parable that often gets told, like, the guy is drowning and he prays to the Lord, "Come save me." 3 rescue ships come, and then he gets to heaven and he says, "Lord, why didn't you save me?" And he's like, "I sent you 3 ships, but you didn't respond." But it's a funny little parable, but it's very, very true. You can have what you might think is an abundant mindset, or you're trusting the Lord in everything. But then when it comes to act, you don't. You really do need both sides of this coin. So that's usually always where I, like to begin with people, is just like, okay, let's examine, do you have the skills, or do you know where to begin in this particular project? But really, what are your thoughts around it? And is there anything in it that we need to invite the Lord into to reframe? And just that last piece, there's a really interesting nuance to that, because here's the other thing that I have come to know as truth. There are so many places where you can learn personal development, but true transformation does not happen without Jesus Christ. You will get far-ish. Like, you can, personal development in the secular world, you will get far. Like, you will learn things about yourself and all that kind of stuff. You'll learn the skills, you'll learn the strategies. But when we know that there is a divine call that we have been uniquely called to do, that does and should look different for every single person here on earth. When we have that knowledge, and then we invite the supernatural graces that exist when we invite the Lord into our dreams, into our desires, then we kind of become unstoppable, if I may argue. And so it's a very important thing, too, for Christians to remember that it's all in cooperation and all fueled by grace, and that true transformation has Jesus Christ at the center.
Yeah, and this is the thing I think moms can get kind of get sidetracked on is, and that's what I find in my mentoring and my coaching. And I think this is why we need mentors and coaches, which I believe are the same thing. When a woman wants to find this, they start grabbing for things that look fast and easy. And fast and
Mm,
easy isn't always the way to go, because you have to do some inner reflection. Like you said, it's not just even mindset, but it's inner reflection. Do you know what God's called you to do? Do you know how to hear his voice? Do you know what possibilities there are? And as I sit with moms and we go through just the simplest, you know, Clifton Strength Test and all these other things, and I guess I do the spiritual gifts one. That's not I'm not crazy about that one. But as we go through, we're able to kind of funnel through, and then it just click, 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 click. But it does involve prayer. It does involve time with God. And you can just pick Beauty Counter or some of these other great companies that help moms be at home with their kids and still be able to make money. But if that's not what God's created you to do, you're not going to be satisfied. Your soul's
mm,
going to be a little stirred. But if there are things in it, in Beauty Counter or some of these other ones, that promote the things that God has placed inside of you, then it could be the very, very perfect place. But to be able to take the time to look inward and then seek the Lord on that and find out what your gifts and talents are, even if you're not going to do a business, how are you going to serve the Lord? Your gifts and talents are important to the world.
mhm,
And, just like I said, what you have is important to me. Your gifts and talents, this is an amazing thing. And I know you agree with me on this, that our gifts and talents are not just for us. We have this idea that they're my gifts and talents. They're for me, they're mine. And the truth is, you have to grow them and work them and use them, and it's actually for other people's benefit.
mhm.
So, What do you have that is going to benefit someone else is another thing that you can look at when you're trying to figure out, what am I going to do? And then
Absolutely.
you may be a person that is not going to make money yet, a person that is not going to do ministry yet. You're going to be a person that's going to be developing who you are and educating yourself and growing in those gifts and talents and going to a Michael Hyatt concert and getting coaching. Lisa and I both have coaches. We go and we figure out what we need, and then we go and quickly find out what it is by having someone help us in our unique personal way. Tell me, Lisa, what do you love? I know you love coaching, but what do you think the benefits are for other people to have coaching?
It's this unique call is for the benefit of the world. And I really just believe that coaching can help unlock whatever it is holding you back.
Yeah.
That's what I really see, like in my own role as a coach, when I'm observing what's going on in my clients, when I'm hearing their thoughts, and when I'm able to sniff out the thoughts that are really holding them back, right? A big
Mm-hmm.
thing I coach women on is inactivity. So, meaning they are so excited about whatever it is, tutoring, their own coaching practice, decorating for other people. I have a lot of people that I coach in beauty counter on my personal
Yeah.
team, and they say things, and I will put myself exactly in this camp. Just everybody, just FYI, I also put myself in the.
Me too.
But people will say like, I just really want this result. So let's just say I want $500 a month in beauty counter, but I'm not getting it and I don't understand. And then, you begin to ask questions, you begin to sort of just peel back the layers. And very quickly it can become evident, well, you're not making any progress because you're actually not doing anything. Let's get to the root of why. What is it that is stopping you? And it's so interesting. People can have fear around anything. And and that's the cool thing about thoughts. And sometimes it's helpful. Thoughts can help, are often helping to protect us from something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be from pain, from embarrassment, from anguish, whatever it is. But in the exact same breath, our thoughts can help liberate and unlock us and put us towards what it is, the path that we've been uniquely called to do. And so that's where I see my unique call as a coach. I really love helping people, again, not just give them the steps. We do need the steps. The steps are really helpful. But let's figure out what is it that's truly holding you back, and let us see if we can reframe that. But it's so much more than reframing. It really is more, what is the thought that will lead you to the activity? And that can present in so many different ways, which is so exciting. For some women, it can be a simple thought as, I trust the Lord with everything. And that will be enough motivation to get them going. But for other women, we might need to tap into a really specific emotion, for example. So, like for me, when I feel challenged by something, it's often because it's like, this is going to be really hard. Like, it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of steps. It's going to be a lot of things I have to navigate. But if I can tap into an emotion of like inspiring or excitement, that will usually
Or
be an,
fun. You
yeah,
always say, if it's fun,
I love making things
it's
fun.
fun, I'll do it.
And so then I can just sort of, again, self coach myself. How can I like think in a way to make this fun? So, reframing is an accurate word to use. It's a word you'll hear in cognitive behavioral
Mm-hmm.
therapy. It's not an inaccurate word, but I like to kind of think of it more. What is the emotion that will provide the action that you want? And that I find for women, especially, it can be an easy place to tap into because typically women are fairly in touch with their emotions, or they can name emotions, or like name how emotions feel in their bodies or what have you pretty readily. So, yeah, that's how I see coaching. And I love it so much, Mona. I could coach all day, every day. It is such a source of joy and fulfillment for me.
Yeah, well, I'm with you on that. And so that's one of the ways that Lisa and I are really connected with all of this. And I think that it is so rewarding to me to see the light bulb go off. And even just helping someone read their Bible and learn how to read their Bible and to, you know, really find the path. It's the most rewarding thing ever. And I do have a tendency to pull back and go, oh, this is hard, and I don't know how to work all these buttons and everything, but it gets me where I want to be, and that's helping making transformational change in the lives of moms and marriages and changing generational lines, and that's what it's all about.
Right.
I really love being able to um, watch you grow through this. And the newest thing that Lisa is doing that I'm super proud of her for is her Possibility Mom conference. This is the third conference, and she's done them throughout COVID. And I'm so proud of you. So I want you to tell the girls about the special conference that you have going on coming up this weekend.
One of the things in my coaching practice that was just coming up again and again, and it would come up on Instagram DMs, it would come up Facebook in my Facebook groups, on my podcast, people asking the question, if I pursue anything out of motherhood, will that make me fail at my vocation? Will that make me, not as present to my husband, not as present to my kids? Is it taking me away from the thing that I know I've been divinely called to do, like the role, the life that I know the Lord has entrusted me with? And I would be met constantly with like all kinds of opinions about why one should pursue other dreams and why someone should not at all, and why dreams are dangerous. And I really just wanted to provide a very safe and very positive place to have this conversation of the pursuit of business as a mom. Can you be a great mom and pursue a business at the same time? And so that is what we were exploring on the Possibility Mom Business Summit. Is a free event with almost 40 incredible experts in the areas of mindset, growth and scale, marketing, but with a real lens. Like, I have two sections that I think are so fascinating that don't often get talked about in, for sure, secular business coaching, but even in Christian business coaching. Like, I just think that these are the essential things, and that is discernment and the skill of discernment. And what does it look like, or what can it look like to integrate work and family? A really interesting story we tell on this summit, and you can grab your free ticket. It's totally free, the possibilitymomconference.com. I was talking to one of the experts about the whole notion of work-life balance. And I was just sort of posing the question or the concept of, like, when we lived in more farming agricultural times, right? Where you relied, like, your income was reliant on your ability to grow food or produce hay or make fabric or whatever it was. Like, there were these cottage-based industries where, you did things on your property in order for you to have a living wage, right? The women would have like a baby strapped to their back, a bunch of children around. Maybe the kids would go to school in the morning, but from what I understand, the expectation was that kids worked the land, and it was an integrated experience. And you kind of just did it. It was like all hands on deck, and it was from sort of your early waking hours all the way into the evening, and the family did it as a unit. And I was saying to this, the woman I was interviewing, I don't think when these women got together with their spouses or with other women in the community, sitting and having afternoon tea, they were not using expressions like, gosh, I just need more work-life balance. Like, it wasn't part of the
No,
vocabulary.
no.
And I think it's an important thing to pause it and to really like go into the interior of our hearts. Like, our anthropology as women and how historically we raised families. It was far more integrated. Now, has the world changed? Absolutely. Are there incredible ways that women can make money now that don't require, a farm and all the things? Of course. And there's wonderful assets to it. But I think that's a part of motherhood that has gotten lost in the modern world, that your children can actually be, number one, they can be the dream, and number two, that you can involve them in whatever pursuits you do. And just to give some really practical examples of what that looks like for Josh and I with 8 kids, going to be 9. We bring kids on trips. When I did my book tour, there were times when the entire family were along for the ride. Certainly, I always have a baby. Like, there's always a baby traveling, either in utero or like on my hip. I have gone to business conferences with babies. Now that my children are older, I involve them in the business. Like, again, just drawing from this example of how farm life was, there wasn't a divide. And so these are some of the things that we're exploring on the Possibility Mom Business Summit happening this weekend. And again, you can get a completely free ticket. If you can't attend the conference live, you can purchase the VIP pass that will allow you to have access to all of the talks for life. And that, again, is at thepossibilitymomconference.com.
That's great. I'm so excited. I will be watching, and I have my ticket. So I will be watching too. I just want to thank you so much, Lisa, for coming on today. It's always an absolute pleasure. You are an inspiration, and you know, you're doing it. You're doing the thing. You are doing the thing. You took the possibilities and you made them possible for yourself. And I'm excited for what comes out of the conference that you're having. And if you are part of the academy, the Moms Like Us Academy, Lisa is going to be doing a very interesting teaching and a very skillful teaching on
Mhm.
how scarcity can be a positive thing in your life, and it can actually be a superpower because
Mm.
time is the one of the biggest things. Lisa's going to be teaching us some mindset about that, and also some tricks and tools that she has up her sleeve that she's kind of taught me. She taught me a lot about that too. So, if you are not part of the Moms Like Us Academy, then why aren't you? You need to get over. There's a link that you can go on and join the Moms Like Us Academy, and all the information is there for you. So, again, Lisa, thank you so much for being on. It is a pleasure, and I'm excited to see all the moms that are going to find out the possibilities of exactly what there is to do. I will
Thank
see.
you, Mona. Thank you
you.
so much.
You're welcome. Well, if you have enjoyed my talk with Lisa Canning, then you have to know that there is more of Lisa Canning to be had, and there are links in the comments and in the show notes for you to be able to contact Lisa. You're not going to come away dry and empty once you spent some time with Lisa. Okay, that's all for this time on Moms Like Us Do Things Like This, because don't you know that moms like us, we got to do things like this. We've got to be introspective. We've got to be able to look and find the things that God's put inside of us so that we can grow them and do the wonderful work of letting it come out to bless the people around us. And we do that by finding really good coaches and mentors and skills and mindsets. And I know that moms like you are able to do that. So we will see you next time on Moms Like Us Do Things Like This. And just for fun, let's do our intro one more time.